There's a report that just came out last month that said the chance that we can keep climate temperature from rising above 2 degrees this century is 5%. But the chance that we will go above 6 degrees is 10%. So 4 years ago, I get a phone call, and it's the CEO of one of the largest oil companies in the tar sands. I want to meet you, one human being to another, because I said the important thing, I think, is we both have to agree on what it is to be human and how we have to provide the fundamental needs. I said, Mr. CEO, what is the most important thing that we need? That any child would tell you, but he's going, well, and I knew right away he's thinking jobs, money. I said, look, if you don't have air for 3 minutes, you're dead. If you have to breathe polluted air, you're sick. So, Mr. CEO, would you agree with me? Clean air should be regarded as sacred. It's something that we all should have a responsibility to protect. And then I said, you and I, we're 60 to 70% water. I said, Mr. CEO, if you don't have water for 4 to 6 days, you're dead. If you have to drink contaminated water, you're sick. So clean water should be sacred. And then with food, you know, we can last 4 to 6 weeks, but eventually we die. Every bit of the food we eat was once alive, plants and animals, and most of it grows in the soil. So would you agree that clean food and soil is up there with clean water and clean air? And then I said, all of the energy in our bodies that we need to grow and move and reproduce, all of the energy in wood and dung and peat, oil, coal and gas, all of that is sunlight. Sunlight captured by plants in photosynthesis, converted into chemical energy. We get it by eating plants or animals that eat the plants. We store it. And then I said, the miracle to me of life on Earth is those 4 things that indigenous people call earth, air, fire, and water. Those 4 sacred elements are cleansed, replenished, created by life. It's all of the plants that are creating, capturing sunlight and letting us store it. It's all the plants taking carbon out of the air, putting oxygen back in it. Life creates the very things that we need to survive. And our responsibility should be to protect those things because they're the foundation of the way we live. Other things, borders, we draw around properties, cities, and they don't mean anything in the natural world, right? Nature couldn't care less. And then we have things we call capitalism, the economy, the market, corporations. We act like these are forces of nature, but we invented them, for Christ's sake. It's like believing in dragons or demons. Who believes in, 300 years ago, people believed dragons were real. We don't anymore. Well, then why have we replaced them with the economy or the market? The market, free the market. This is a human-created thing. We can't change nature. That's the challenge for the entrepreneurs. How do we create an economy that nourishes the things that keep us healthy and alive? The air, the water, the soil. That's a challenge for your entrepreneurs. How can we make a living through the economy while performing a sacred obligation? And I said to this CEO, I said, Mr. CEO, I know this is difficult, but if you will shake hands with me and agree, that's the foundation of the way we live, I will do everything I can to help you and your company. What do you think he did? He couldn't shake hands. He was a good man. This is what I'm always told, you know, he's a good man. He goes to church every Sunday. He loves camping with his kids. But the game he's playing in, your game, it's rigged. It's rigged to ignore the most precious things that we have. If he were to go back to his shareholders and say, look, I had a discussion with Suzuki and I have to agree, whatever our company does, we can't mess with the air, the water, the soil. He'd get fired in a picosecond because that's not his job. His job is to make money. The more and the faster, the better. One of the major issue we have to confront in the developed world, in the industrialized world, is we are the hyper consumers on the planet. If every country in the world wanted to live the way we do in Canada and Australia, we're hooped. many times over. We are the I know population's a big issue in Australia. You're already way overpopulated. Why? Because of your hyperconsumption. There is no way that Australia can support, what do you have, 18 million? 23 million. There's no way that 23 million could live within the boundaries of Australia. You can't. You depend on the global economy. So the reach of Australia is you can live very high in your big cities because you're using the whole world to get your goods and sell your stuff and all that. We've got to be much more locally based. We've got to eat local. We preferably buy local. But the big challenge is, for Christ's sake, think hard about whenever you spend money. If you go out to buy a cotton shirt, very few people know that cotton is probably the most chemically intensive crop we grow. And if you look at areas like in Eurasia, where they've got the biggest cotton growing area, and look at the impact that that's had on the rivers and lakes, on the people, it's been absolutely catastrophic. We just think, I want a cotton shirt, and I put my money down, I want a logo on it, and off we go. But just buying that cotton shirt has reverberations that ripple out. I believe the unit of survival into the future is going to be the community. The community is going to be what shares, support each other, and we're going to find ways of our entertainment, our joy. Everything is going to come from our local area. So put money into building your local community. Being an elder has put a lot of things into perspective. And I can tell you, money and all of the stuff, I see rich people building these gigantic homes and buying very expensive fancy cars and even planes. Believe me, at the end of your life, that's not what you're going to feel proudest of, or that you contributed to. It's not going to be stuff or money. It's going to be your children and grandchildren. So think about them, please.